So now in our movies table component in the render method, we have the same issue that we had earlier. We have mixed levels of abstraction. Here we have this table element. Inside that we have this high level component that encapsulates some detail. But right below that we have this T body with all these details about rendering the body of this table. So we have mixed levels of abstraction. This is very ugly. Wouldn't that be nicer if, similar to this table header, we had a component like table body? So let's go ahead and create this component. Here in the common folder, let's add a new file, table body.jsx. Let's import React on the top and create a class component, table body. Now we don't need the state, so let's delete that. Now what should be returned in the render method? Let's take a look at our movies table. So we want a T body, a bunch of TRs, and a bunch of TDs. So back in table body, let's return T body, inside that TR and TD. Now we want to render TRs dynamically based on the number of objects we want to display in this table. So this is where we are defining the interface for this component. Back to the movies table component, what data do we need to pass here? The list of movies. So let's set the data attribute to movies. Note that I named this attribute data instead of movies because I want this component to be completely decoupled from movies. It doesn't know anything about movies. In the future, we can reuse this to display a list of customers. So we need to give it the list of movies. Now, back in the table body. So in our render method on the top, just like before, as a convention, we do our object destructuring. We pick all the properties we need, in this case, data from this.props. So let's add an expression. We get the data, map it. We get an item. Again, I'm not talking about movies. I'm talking about items. Each item goes to a TR, like this. Now, similarly, we need to render these TDs dynamically based on the number of columns. So this table body should also know about the columns. So I'm going to pick columns from the props object. Once again, we add an expression. We get the columns and map each column to a TD like this. In the next lecture, we'll render the content for each TD.